Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and welcome to Botanica. So we have started our new topic, that is the plant adaptations, and we have discussed how plants are adapted to their environment and why there is a importance for adaptation, why plants are adapted to their environment, how they are adapted to their environment, and what is the significance of adaptations, and the main significance and major benefit for the plant is to that adaptations are very important. Adaptation impart plants those characteristics which help them to live in the habitat that is either not favorable if those adaptations are not there. And now we are going to end at the last. In the previous lecture we have discussed that on the basis of the availability of the water we have discussed the plants into three different characteristics, three different classes, that are xerophytes, mesophytes and hydrophytes. And first of all we are going to discuss the xerophytes, as they are here. The tagline indicates that these are the plants of the dry habitats. So when we describe the term xerophytes, so it doesn't mean that the term desert. Desert is something different. Xeric habitat is that habitat where the water is not available in the abundant amount. Sufficient amount of water is not available. Desert is also definitely the part of it is also xerophytic habitat, but when we write or when we read the term xerophyte or xeric term, so the main concept which is in our mind, that is about the desert. So remember, when we are discussing the xerophyte or xeric condition, it doesn't mean always that we are discussing about the desert. Xeric habitats are all those habitats which are dry, where the water is very low or it is not in sufficient amount. So as you can see here in the this is also the xerophytic habitat, but here it is not the desert, it is a rocky habitat. Here the plants are also the plants which are living in this particular area. These are called the xerophytes. And what are the xerophytes? What are the adaptations exhibited by the xerophytes according to their situation, according to their need? We are going to discuss in the next lecture. So first of all, what are xerophytes? So plants which grow in the dry habitats or the xeric conditions, they are called the xerophytes. So all those plants which are inhabiting the xeric environment, the environment where the water is not in the sufficient amount, so those all the plants are called xerophytes. And the places where water is not present in adequate quantity are called the xeric habitats. So okay, we have discussed that plants those are inhabiting which are present in xeric conditions. So what are xeric conditions? We have defined it in the next sentence, that that condition or that environment or the habitat where the water is not present in the sufficient quantity, in the normal quantity. What is the adequate quantity? The quantity of water which is required for the normal growth of the plant, growth and development of the plant, that is called the adequate or sufficient amount. If the water is not available in the adequate quantity, so all the processes in the plants, either they are physiological, either they are biochemical, either they are genetical, either they are at the molecular level, all the processes in the plants, they are affected. So that's why the adequate amount of water is necessary for the plant, so that all the process, growth and development should occur at the normal level. So habitat, so as far as the habitats are concerned, xeric habitats are concerned, those xeric habitats may be either physically or physiologically drought conditions. So what are physical or physiological drought? So habitats where water retaining capacity is very low and climate is dry, so they are called, what they are called? They are the physical dry habitat. So desert, rock surfaces, wasteland, it is called the physically dry habitat. So when we discuss the xeric condition, either that condition may be the physically dry or it may be the physiologically dry. As these two terms indicates that what does the physically dry habitat means? In that habitat the water is not present physically. So water is not present, either that water is far below the reach of the jurisdiction of the root, and root is not able to absorb that water, or that water is ultimately not available to the plant. So that is the physically dry habitat, and that is also called physical drought. And why it is occur and why it is present? Because in most of the soil, like you can give the example of the desert, because in the desert the sand particles are present, the soil is made up of the sand. So the major portion the soil is sand, and sand particles are very large in their surface area, and where they are very large particle, and the distance between those particles is very large, very high. That's why the water retaining capacity of the desert or the sand, it is very low. Water very rapidly percolates down, and it is not in this reach or in the capacity or in the jurisdiction of the root. So that's why the water, those soil where the water retaining capacity is very low, they are physically dry habitat. But there are some conditions what happen there. So habitats where water is present in excess amount, but it is not such as can be absorbed by the plants. But there are some also other conditions where the water is available, but that water is not cannot be absorbed by the plants, because as its name indicates that these are the physiologically drought. Physiological, what is physiological drought? These are the habitats where the water is available, but the water either it contains very high concentration of the salt, or it is very acidic or very basic, or we can say that water cannot be absorbed by the plant physiologically. Roots are not able to absorb that water, and that water may be either too hot or too cold, or it may be some other physiological condition that the plant is not able to absorb it. So these are the two conditions: either the water is physically absent, or it is physiologically not available to the plant. So but there are the conditions where water is either physically or physiologically not available, but there are some plants which can withstand this extreme condition, and the plants are present. Either that condition are at the polar and arctic regions, or it is present in the desert where the temperature is 60 and 70 degrees Celsius. So plants are there and plants are growing. So when growing under unfavorable conditions, these plants develop certain structural and morphological characteristics. So how these plants withstand these extreme conditions? Either that temperature is far below the 0 degrees Celsius, or that plant temperature is more than 60 or 70 degrees Celsius. So plants are able to withstand these extreme conditions. And how they are able to withstand these extreme conditions? Because of the adaptations, because of the certain characteristics which are structural and morphological, anatomical and physiological adaptations, which aim mainly at the following objectives. So plants, what the plant do? They have adapted themselves according to the conditions, and those adaptations are structural. They are also morphological adaptations, and the morphological adaptations, along with also there are the anatomical adaptations as well. So as far as the adaptations are concerned, they are structural, morphological and anatomical. And why these adaptations are carried out? So first of all, these are the main four objectives: to absorb as much water as they can get from the surroundings. So first of all, the first objective of these xerophytes is to absorb as much abundant water as they can, because there is a water scarcity, water drought, or we can say that they are the drought conditions, and plant adapt themselves, and plant make certain adaptations so as to get more and more water from the surrounding. And second is to retain water in their organ for a very long time. As you have seen that there are succulent plants which are growing in the desert, and those succulent plants have the capacity to store very much water in their organs. So that's why these are the adaptations. So second objective is to retain the water in their organs, and third objective is to reduce the transpiration rate to minimum, and the fourth one is to check high consumption of water. So as their organs and their transpiration mechanisms are developed, and adaptations are like to minimize the loss of water, so that the water can be retained in the plant and it can be used. And the fourth one is to check the high consumption of water, so as the consumption should not exceed, or consumption should be as low as it can be carried out so that the plant can make their growth and development, but the consumption should not be very high. So these are the four major objectives of the adaptations which are carried out by the xerophytes. So xerophytes are categorized into several groups according to their drought resisting powers, which are the following. So as far as the xerophytes are concerned, xerophytic plants are concerned, they are classified into different groups according, and the criterion for the classification is different for different classification. But here we are discussing the criterion according to their drought resistance. So according to this particular criteria, we have three types of plants. First of all, we have drought-scaping plants. What are the drought-scaping plants? These are the xerophytes which are short-lived. So what does it mean, the short-lived? Short-lived means their life cycle is very short. Survive in the form of seeds and fruit which have hard and resistant seed coat. So as far as their life cycle is concerned, the growth period is very short, the plant life is very short, and those conditions, the extreme conditions, they escape those extreme conditions by making seeds and fruit. As the seeds and fruits are very hard and resistant in structure, they overcome these drought conditions by escape these drought conditions by making these seeds and fruit. As there is no plant in these drought conditions, there is only a seed and fruit, so they overcome these drought conditions. So advent of the favorable conditions, seed, so when the conditions are favorable, what they do, the seeds germinate and ultimately it completes rapidly its life cycle, and again the seed mature before the dry conditions approaches. So as far as the drought-scaping plants are concerned, as the name indicates that they escape the drought. And how to escape the drought? For example, whenever there is a rainy season, so what they do, the seeds germinate, and after the germination they quickly complete their life cycle when the conditions are favorable. And by the completion of their life cycle, at the end of the life cycle, they mature and form the seeds before the dry condition approaches. So these plants are called the ephemerals as well as drought evaders, as there is the example of the astragalus. And what they do, we have seen the astragalus. So you can see here, this is the plant astragalus which is present there, and it is the ephemeral. So as what it do, it escape the drought in the form of it, and it makes the seeds before the approaches of the dry condition. So the next category is the drought enduring plants. So these are the plants which are not escaping the drought conditions. What they do, they endure the xerophytic conditions. So what they first of all, their characteristics is these are the small size plants, and they have also the capacity to tolerate the drought in the growing conditions, so in the plant conditions. So these are the drought enduring plants. So they have certain types of adaptations which make them able to tolerate the drought. And third is the drought resisting plants. So these plants develop certain adaptive features in them through which they can resist extreme drought. So as the name indicates, so they resist the drought condition. And how they resist, they make certain types of adaptations by adapting themselves according to the situation, so they can overcome the extreme conditions. So structural modification in xerophytic plants may be of the two types. Either they may be xeromorphic characters. So what we are discussing the drought resisting plants. So now in these drought resisting plants, there are the structural modifications. So those structural modifications in xerophytic plants may be of the two types. Either they are xeromorphic characters or xeromorphic adaptations, xeromorphic modifications. And what are those xeromorphic adaptations? Xerophytic characters that are genetically fixed and inherited are referred to as xeromorphic. So as far as the adaptations or modifications according to the xeric conditions are concerned, they may be xeromorphic. And what are the xeromorphic? Xeromorphic adaptations or the modifications are those which are genetically fixed. So they are by the birth. So they are not according to the environment, but they are genetically fixed. They are in the genome. So whenever there is a plant growing in either in the environment, in desert or in other environments, so they have those adaptations. They always have those xeromorphic characters because these are genetically fixed. So they will appear in the xerophytic irrespective, either that plant is growing in the xeric condition or it is not growing in the xeric condition. These xeromorphic character will be present in the plant because they are genetically fixed. And the second category is the for example, halophytic mangroves and many other evergreen trees, although growing in moist condition, always develop xeromorphic characters, as these characters are present in the genome, so they are developed whenever either there is a irrespective of their condition. And next we have xeroplastic characters. So what are the xeroplastic characters? These are the features which are induced by the drought and are always associated with the dry conditions. So as far as the xeroplastic characters are concerned, they are associated with the conditions. If there are the dry condition, if there are the drought conditions, so we will find these characters, those characters, and if there are no drought conditions, you will not find these characters in the plants. So as far as the xeroplastic characters are concerned, they are always associated with the dry conditions and they are never inherited because they are not present in the genome. So these characters may disappear from the plants if all the favorable conditions are made available to them. So we can say that if the conditions are unfavorable, if the conditions are in the drought conditions are there, so we will find these xeroplastic characters in the plants. But if the conditions are favorable, so you will not find these characters in the plants. So those characters which are present in the drought conditions and absent in the normal conditions, so they are called the xeroplastic